Check the manufacturer's label to identify the material. In this example, we have an outer shell made from 7.3-ounce PBI matrix, so our patch must also be made from 7.3-ounce PBI matrix. Nomex brand fiber FR thread, compliant with NFPA 1971, should be used. Nomex thread adds heat resistance, strength, and durability to your repair. Cut the patch to size, adding 1/8 to 1/4 inch to each side to accommodate making a finished edge. Place the garment on your sewing machine. Turn each fabric edge under 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Position the patch by centering it over the damaged area. Stitch close to the folded edge using a straight stitch. Stitch all 4 sides of the patch. Patching is performed using a lock stitch with no less than 6 stitches per inch. Inspect the repair. Make sure there are no loose edges. Patching reflective trim has a different set of requirements. Repairs to reflective trim cannot exceed 3 linear inches in length. Each patch must extend 1 inch beyond the damaged area on both sides. You cannot have more than 2 trim patches per stripe of trim. You cannot patch over damaged trim. If replacing trim requires sewing into a major A seam, the manufacturer or a verified ISP must perform the replacement. To make a repair to trim, you first measure to determine if the damage qualifies as a basic repair. Because the patch cannot exceed 3 linear inches and must extend 1 inch beyond the damaged area on both sides, your damaged area cannot be longer than 1 linear inch. If it meets the basic repair criteria, remove the damaged trim using a seam ripper and scissors. Place the garment on your machine and position a patch of identical trim material in its place and stitch. Use a lock stitch with a minimum of 6 stitches per inch. There should be an independent row of stitching on each side of the patch. Use more if the original employs more than one. Inspect the repair. Make sure there are no loose edges. Trained personnel can replace damaged or missing hardware, excluding positive closure on the coat or pants. Positive closures are zippers, hooks, and Ds, etc. Snaps or hook and loop are considered non-positive closures. To demonstrate hardware replacement, we will replace a missing snap and damaged eyelet. To replace a missing snap, a kick press is used with a separate set of dies. Make sure you have the correct size die for the replacement hardware. Select the proper snap stud and socket. Place the snap socket on the die according to the toolmaker's instructions. Place the stud through the material opening. Align the stud with the tap and apply pressure. Replacing an eyelet is very similar, except we use a punch instead of a kick press. First, remove the damaged eyelet. Select the proper cap and washer. Replace the backing material if damaged. Position the eyelet cap on the garment. On the back side, place the backing material over the eyelet post and then the washer over the post. Crimp the post to hold the hardware in place. Place the assembly on the die and strike the punch with a mallet. Inspect. Check for functionality after completing repair. Complete liner inspections are required to be performed when a liner system has been in service for 3 years, and then once a year after that. Many liner systems have inspection openings that allow you to perform a complete liner inspection without opening the hem seam. Liner systems that do not have an inspection opening must have the hem seam open to perform a complete liner inspection. Closing the hem of your liner system following a complete liner inspection requires a higher level of skill than patching or replacing stitches. It is not a job for a novice. Liner system hems are sewn closed in a variety of ways, depending on the make and year of your protective clothing. In our example, the liner system has a binding on the hem. We recommend replacing the original binding. At the very least, inspect the original for damage. To close the hem, first run a lock stitch to join the moisture barrier and the thermal liner. Set the binding in position. Make sure marks from the original stitching are captured under the binding. Remember to backstitch to lock the beginning of stitching in place. Now, stitch the entire length using a lock stitch with at least 6 stitches per inch. After the binding is completely sewn, neatly trim the threads. Inspect to ensure the thermal liner and moisture barrier are securely attached. Small, pin-sized holes in your moisture barrier can be repaired using seam tape from W.L. Gore & Associates. The only way it can be applied is by using an approved seam sealing device. Check with Lion Total Care to see if your device is approved for use. If you detect a leak during hydrostatic testing, mark where the leak is, let the moisture barrier dry, then cut a length of seam tape to cover the hole. We recommend at least 1-inch length of seam tape. Place the moisture barrier on the seam sealer film side up. Center the tape over your marking and engage the machine according to manufacturer's directions. After the repair is complete, test for leakage. To recap, trained departmental personnel may perform basic repairs on turnouts, as defined by NFPA 1851. All repairs must be performed in the same manner and using the same materials as the manufacturer. If you have any questions regarding what you're permitted to repair or about the repair itself, contact Lion Total Care at 800-253-2690.